Welcome back to the Tech Zone. Paul Amadeus Lane, ABC News KMET, streaming, listening, videoing, whatever you're doing. We got you covered here on the Tech Zone and ABC News KMET 1490. Last week, had an opportunity to talk to two of the beautiful leading ladies of the Syfy show, 12 Monkeys, Amanda Shull and also Emily Hampshire. Amanda, she plays Dr. Cassandra Reilly, or Cassie, as the main character we're going to interview now calls her. And also Emily Hampshire, she plays Jennifer Goines, the vivacious one. Now, if you watch or listen to the last episode of the show, hopefully you did some research on her character. And let me know if my description of her or my interview with her was just spot on. Please let me know. She's amazing. She is awesome. All right, well, we decided to talk to the guys of the 12 Monkeys. The main character is James Cole. He's played by Aaron Stanford. Now, some of you may remember Aaron from the X-Men movies. He was Pyro, one of my favorite characters in X-Men. And had an opportunity to talk to him about what it's like to play this character and what's in store. One thing you notice when a show starts to when a show is getting ready to end is there's a maturation process of the different characters, and you really see the growth of them. And you can see it in Aaron's character as well, too. And I had an opportunity to chat with him about it.
Good to see you.
Great to have you, and it's an honor to talk to you, my friend. When I saw you get the role of James Cole, I was like, he is going to kill it. This is like his element. When you first got cast, how did you feel about it?
Well, I was shocked, first of all. I didn't expect to be cast in a role that Bruce Willis made famous. I knew Terry Matalas, the showrunner. He asked me to come in. I sort of did it just because I knew him and he wanted to see me, so I came in, but I didn't think much of it. And for whatever reason, they saw something in me that they thought fit what they wanted this new interpretation of the character to be, and thankfully it worked out because it's been a great time.
And Aaron, the storyline, it jumps everywhere, but you can follow it.
Yeah.
Playing those different roles in the different time that you jump to or that you splinter to, how do you keep all that straight in your head?
It's tough, man. It's really hard. And as the show went on, it got more and more ambitious, and we didn't get any more time to make it work. So we ended up, we're like shooting multiple episodes at the same time, and block shooting and mixing and matching. So it got pretty crazy. And the answer is by the skin of our teeth is how we keep track of it. And we have writers on set a lot, and we take a lot of breaks between shooting to step back and say, okay, what exactly happened prior to this, and does this track, does it make sense that he's in this mindset in this particular time? Does it contradict anything? So it's a lot of work.
And it really shows off your talent, my friend, because I was like, wow. I couldn't do that. I would be like, okay, what am I talking about now? What am I doing now? But you do it with ease.
We do our best.
And when we look at the different seasons, season 3 with The Witness, your son, and take us through the emotions of just playing that part, of finding out that you had a son and he was going to be this person who was going to destroy the world but end up saving it. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's tough to get your head around, and the character of Cole really at first, he doesn't know how to take it in. He sees it really in an abstract way, and he hears the news that he's had a son, but all he really thinks about is the fact that his son is responsible for the death of 7 billion people. So he sees his son as a problem to solve. And then he finally gets to have contact with him. He looks into his eyes and he sees himself in his son, and he sees the woman he loves in his son, and he realizes that he is a person, and suddenly he does a 180 and he can't do it anymore, and he'd rather try to save this child than sacrifice him.
You know, a lot of viewers and fans out there really love the dynamic between you and Ramsey.
Yeah.
And you can really tell you guys have a lot of chemistry on that camera together.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And you will see him coming back for season 4. I cannot say in exactly what capacity, but he does rear his head again, yeah.
And as we see all the seasons that we have been able to watch, what has been like your most memorable episode?
What have they been? I mean, I really enjoyed season 3. Really got interesting. The writers decided to have a lot more fun with the time travel element. I thought the 80s episode was a lot of fun with the bank heist and me in the Marty McFly outfit. That was it was a hoot. It was a good time.
And when we look at season 4, it's coming to an end. It really saddens me personally because I'm a huge fan of the show, and I know you playing James Cole and just being a part of that. How does that make you feel knowing it's coming to an end?
You know, it's always sad when stories come to an end. You know, when you're at the last chapter of the novel and you're about to close the cover. It's sad, but that's the nature of a story. It's got a beginning and it's got an end, and I'm just happy that we were able to have enough time to properly tell this story, and that we knew in advance when we were bringing it to a close. You see a lot of these series, they just spin them out for 8 or 9 seasons, and eventually, like, the mythology gets so sprawled out, you can't bring it back to a close. So I'm happy we were able to properly.
Now, what the cameras didn't show you, because we had some technical difficulties in during the interview, was that I asked Aaron the question about playing Pyro in X-Men. That one part when little snot-nosed punk Bobby Drake's brother, remember when he turned him in? Called the police, remember, because it was Wolverine, it was Rogue, and it was Pyro, and it was also Iceman, Bobby Drake. They were at his house because they're on the run. Remember, they went in and they trashed Professor's his mansion. So they went home with his little punk brother. What did he do? Called the police, and remember that one scene they're sitting or they're standing on the porch when the police come. And this is when they shot Wolverine, shot him right in the head. And Wolverine, they thought Wolverine was dead, right? But, you know, he rejuvenates, whatever that word is. And remember what Pyro said? He said, "Remember those mutants they warned you about? Well, I'm him." And I was like, wow. Sean, you know what I'm talking about, right? Some of you X-Men aficionados out there, you know what I'm talking about too. Wasn't that awesome? And I asked Aaron about that, and I asked him, did he improvise? He said no, he didn't improvise. It was actually written in the script. So the cameras didn't show you that. It was because we had a technical difficulty, but it was awesome. Yeah, got video of it, but no sound. Maybe I'll release that anyway. Next, I had an opportunity to talk to Todd Stashwick. Todd played Deacon, or plays Deacon, or actually played Deacon, because this is the last season. And his character this last season was particularly different. And there was one episode that just showed off Todd's acting ability. I really didn't know he had it in him, because he plays Deacon, this tough guy who really takes no mess, right? Kind of reminds you of me. I'm just joking. And he played that scene well. So I had an opportunity to ask him, where did he draw the motivation behind that episode and his feelings about his character?
Todd, Deacon's character has, let's say, transformed to being is it a good guy? Can we say good guy?
I would say he's a protagonist. He went from kind of mainly an antagonist to being a protagonist. Good, that's a relative issue, because some people would have thought in season 3 that I was working against the cause, because they didn't want me going after the witness, because they're like, no, that's Colin Cassie's boy, so don't hurt him. I'm like, So I think good is a relative term, but he certainly is a protagonist. He is trying to save the world, so, that's a good thing.
I think one of the episodes that really showed off your expertise in acting was the one when you're having flashbacks of your father.
Thank you.
And take us through how you got prepared to do that role.
Well, about 5 months before that, I got a text from Terry Metellus, and he said, "Get ripped." I said, like, what kind? He said, like prison yard, like De Niro in Cape Fear. And then he called me later, and he was like, "We want to do this scene with you and your father. Would you be willing to play both roles?" And I'm like, what a gift. So it was like a kind of a double challenge. So I then went on a very, very restricted diet, a very rigorous workout regime, and dropped 30 pounds. I got my chin-up game on, and my push-up game on, because I knew I had to be shirtless for that entire episode. So it's like, I gotta at least be okay with what I'm seeing. So it was a lot of discipline. I was working out 9 times a week. I wasn't touching a drop of booze or sugar or all the things that make life fun at times. But the payoff was great, and it really helped me kind of focus in and get to the I want to say focus that he needed to survive that event. So I went through something transformative as the character went through something transformative.
No, you really did an awesome job.
Thank you so much.
And it seems like Deacon's character still has that little love for Cassie.
How could you not? How could you not? I mean, he grew up watching her on TV, and he was, she represented safety at home and safe harbor and all these things to him when he was a boy and scared growing up in the apocalypse, that when he finally gets to meet her as a grown-up, and she needed him now to survive, it formed a deep bond between the two of them.
And it was funny. I was talking to some of my friends that I grew up with who were big fans of the show, and we grew up like in L.A. and Compton area, and we were talking about the show, and they said, "I can't believe Deacon hit that." That's what they use the street language, but you got a lot of street cred when that happened.
Hey, you know what? I don't think he could either. I think he was feeling like a Beauty and the Beast, right? I think he was feeling something. It was a profound moment, and it wasn't just about something cheap. It was profound for him, and he doesn't let a lot of people in.
Yeah, I mean, we can really sense that. Now, before I let you go, too, Season 4 is coming up, final season.
Yeah.
Take us through the emotions of it coming to an end.
It's hard. It's a series of diminishing goodbyes. Like I had to say goodbye to the time machine and say goodbye to all the cast, all the crew that we worked together in Toronto before we go into Prague to finish up. And I've had to be away from my family for 3 years. And so I was fortunate to be with these people. If I had to be away from home, it was with these people. And so I love all these people, and I love these stories, and I love this character. So they're big shoes to fill. It'll be interesting to see what I do after this, because this one spoiled me.
Well, I'm a huge fan, and I'll be a huge fan of Deacon and a huge fan of you, Todd.
Thank you.
And much success in your future endeavors, my friend.
Let me give a shout out to Nerd Strong Gym. They're the ones that put me through the paces to get Deacon in shape, and FitFacts in Pasadena. She was Sarah Lynn Baird. She was the one who gave me the diet that helped me get in fight and shape, so that I could fall apart on screen.
Now, with that being said, can they do something with all this sexiness like they?
That's right there.
Like they did with yours?
That's all just the food, my friend.
All right.
But you know what? We like our food. Like I said, right after I finished my final scene where I had to be like that, one of the producers came over and he gave me a bottle of bourbon. He's like, "You've earned this." So we toasted the end of that wrap. After we wrapped that episode, we're like, okay, 5 months of work. Yeah, cheers. Thank you so much.
Great talking to you, Todd.
All right.
I'd like to thank Todd Stashwick and Aaron Stanford for joining me on the Tech Zone. I really enjoyed talking to them. I'm really going to miss the 12 Monkeys. That was I really enjoyed that. At first, I wasn't going to watch it. Then I started watching it, and I got hooked by it. So again, you can catch up on that on demand, all because of technology, the way it is now. Hence, the Tech Zone, folks. Hey, are you looking for some good entertainment when it comes to children? Maybe you're a parent and you don't want them to see a lot of violence or, just suggestive things on television. All right, when we get back, we're going to finish our discussion about kids programming, kids content. A few weeks back, had an opportunity to interview the legendary Marty Krofft. Maybe you've caught that episode. If not, you can catch it up on demand. And also actor David Arquette about the Sigmund and the Sea Monsters reboot. Well, Amazon Prime Instant Video, they have just a lot of children programming out there, and had an opportunity to catch up with 2 more of the shows that they have and some of the well-known actors who are voicing them. So we'll be right back right after these messages. Tech Zone.